Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Nyxre and welcome back to another episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Teemo, where today I'll be covering top lane Lee Sin. So here's a reference guide for today's video. A quick thing that I'd like to point out before we get started is that while I have tested this build with full AD and full tank, most of what I'll be covering will pertain directly to full AD because I found it to work better for me. Feel free to experiment with the build yourself and find whatever works best for you. For anyone interested, an injury link to this reference guide can be found down in the description below. So let's get right into the good things about top lane Lee Sin by covering one of the best things about Lee Sin in general. He is an incredibly mobile champion. Safeguard can easily allow you to outplay your lane opponent and can help you escape any enemy ganks. Because you're playing in the top lane, having this mobility is very important since it's such a long lane. While it may be a bit greedy, you could actually take Ghost in place of Flash because of how mobile you already are. I wouldn't necessarily advise this, however, because Flash allows for you to quickly escape danger while Ghost isn't as immediate. Safeguard is useful for more than just escapes of course, as it does provide you with a very healthy amount of sustain, allowing you to stay topped up on health in any even matchups. This is only enhanced in the later stages of the game, when you're likely to have at least one lifesteal item in your inventory. Top lane Lee Sin is also one of the best early game bullies. Lee Sin has very high base damage with his Q, along with very high AD scaling ratios which allow for you to quickly chunk your lane opponent faster than potions will heal them. There are plenty of people who take Ignite because of this early game advantage, as it enables them to pick up a few early kills while their lane opponent is helpless. Referring back to the mobility I talked about earlier, top lane Lee Sin is great for setting up roams. Because you can ward hop over walls, you can come in behind the enemy mid laner and try to secure your own mid laner an early kill. This is already widely apparent whenever you see Lee Sin played in the jungle, because his ganks are incredibly potent and are very difficult for mid lane mages with little mobility to avoid. There are a few popular mid laners such as Fizz and Vladimir who can easily nullify your roaming attempts, but others such as Victor and even Swain are relatively easy to kill as long as you can land your Q. And finally, the last good thing about top lane Lee Sin that I'd like to cover is his incredible playmaking potential. We all know about the famed insect kick because of how effective it is at securing kills that may have otherwise been lost if you were playing a different champion. Because most of the time you'll be taking teleport, you won't even need the mechanics required to pull off an insect kick because you can teleport behind the enemy team, find the enemy carry, and kick them through the rest of their team and into yours. This is obviously easier said than done, but if pulled off in the late game, it could single-handedly win your team the game. Now it's time for the bad things about top lane Lee Sin. There are obviously a few things that are sacrificed when playing Lee outside of the jungle, or more people would be playing him this way already. One of the more annoying things about playing Lee in the top lane is that you won't have nearly as many wards as you would have while playing in the jungle. With the removal of green wards, the only wards you'll ever have will come from your trinket and from pink wards, although you won't want to waste a pink ward to use your safeguard if you don't have to. It's not really feasible to build Sightstone while playing in the top lane, because it would only put you at a disadvantage during the laning phase. Some people take Smite while going top just for the Tracker's Knife, but I still don't find this to be worth it as there are other items which are more gold efficient while playing in the top lane. On top of this, Lee Sin isn't the greatest against champions which can continuously poke you down. You can sometimes counter this by landing your Q and going for an all-in, but certain champions will make your laning phase absolutely miserable. The worst experience I personally had while testing this build was laning against a Pantheon, because he can throw your spears at you every couple of seconds and can quickly burn down your health bar. If you try to engage, all he has to do is stun you and then he can pull off the rest of his combo. This is only one matchup of course, so just keep that in mind because your experience will vary between every game. And finally, let's move on to the Teemo. This is a section that covers the worst aspects about top lane Lee Sin, and lists the primary reasons why you would typically play him some other way. One of the biggest problems with playing Lee Sin with a lot of damage is that he falls off extremely hard in the late game. Once you've lost your ability to quickly burst someone down, you're no longer a huge threat to the enemy team. You'll still have your playmaking potential, but in terms of straight up winning duels in terms of damage, the late game will be your enemy and you want to avoid it at all costs. And finally, one of the most daunting things about Lee Sin is how mechanically intensive he is. He takes a lot of practice to play well, and less mechanically skilled players such as myself will struggle to utilize this kit to the fullest potential. There are other top laners which are much easier to play, which will likely be the biggest reasons why you probably wouldn't take Lee Sin to the top lane in the current meta. But anyways, that's all I have for top lane Lee Sin. Lee used to be played in the top lane quite often a few seasons ago, but with so many late game threats being popular now, it's no surprise Lee Sin isn't seeing that much play. Feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe if you are new around here and would like to see more. If you didn't like the video, feel free to leave a dislike. All I ask is that you leave a comment with what you believe I could have done better, so that my future content can continue to improve. But anyways, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.